Welcome to the Live Squawk podcast, where professional traders, investors, and market insiders get the unfiltered insights that matter most. Stay ahead of the curve with expert interviews and exclusive market commentary. Hello, and welcome to the latest Commodity Corner, our actionable analysis on equities, energies, ags, metals, and other critical assets, published every Friday morning. This week's issue covers Bitcoin, US indices decline, the problem with steel, cobalt, aluminium, and whether there's any relief in sight for the Loonie, aka Canadian dollar. I'm joined as usual to discuss the week's edition by its author, Chris Stadale. Hi, Chris. We'll come to you in a second, but just a quick disclaimer before we do get into the reads. The content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Live Squawk is not a licensed financial advisor, and none of the information shared should be considered as financial, investment, or trading advice. Please conduct your own research, consider your own financial objectives, and consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. Investing and trading in financial markets carry risks, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Live Squawk is not responsible for any losses or gains that may result from the following the content on this channel. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Harry. How you doing?
Not bad, thank you. Not bad. We were just discussing off air the new F1 season that starts this weekend in Melbourne, Australia. So something that we both have in common, and can't wait to get that going. But ahead of that, I want to introduce you, our audience, to your weekly again, which we can be found on. Where can we find it? On Substack. You can find it on Substack or the livesquawk.com website. I want to get into what you're writing this week and have a look at some of the headline pieces. So if I'll leave it to you now, take it away.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Harry. Actually, before we start, I just want to make a quick comment on gold. Obviously, that's been making some sizable moves lately, and we just want to make sure that people use proper risk management when markets get especially volatile. And I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish, I'm just cautious about gold. So I think that's the best way to phrase it. As for this week's newsletter, I first addressed the Bitcoin market and the lackluster response to the White House's new crypto reserve. I did not include any price targets this week, but I do share my general thoughts on market direction. For the stock market, I actually tackled both the S&P and the NASDAQ this week, along with some price targets that are based on some highly liquid ETFs. Obviously, there's been a whole heck of a lot of tariff talk recently, and how much demand destruction those might create. So I think there is more downside risk, but there's also some rational support levels as well. And continuing on tariffs, I know a few of our readers watch the steel market, so I just wanted to briefly touch on the recent price action and also relay some important data on U.S. steel imports. And I have a whole page dedicated to Canada this week, mainly focusing on the Loonie, like Harry said, and also aluminum. And as you've probably seen in my other discussions that I've done many times, most U.S. imports come from Canada. So I just wanted to reiterate some thoughts on aluminum prices. And finally, I touch on cobalt. I hadn't covered that market since mid-January, so I just want to give a brief update on that one. For next week, I aim to cover the Japanese yen, treasuries, copper, and definitely a few other important markets. And like Harry said at the beginning, if you'd like to subscribe, just go to substack.com, type in Live Squawk Commodity Corner, and it will pop right up.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Chris. Yeah, I think, do we have a BOJ meeting coming up soon as well?
I know they're going to be releasing more data next week, the inflation data that people really look at. So, and also importantly, the U.S. Federal Reserve, they have their meeting next week too, and that's actually right on my birthday. So,
well, happy birthday for next week. No doubt we'll talk before then. But yeah, the Bank of Japan at the moment we're going through Shengo, which is the corporates all start to fix their wages for the year ahead. So there's a lot of interest in that at the moment. So that'd be interesting to see what that does to the yen and the Bank of Japan's decision-making process. For the Fed, I'm guessing we're looking more at, well, I think there's potential for a move from the Fed. I don't think there was, it was priced in at the start of the year, but I think that's starting to change. The dynamics of that is starting to change a bit. We'll discuss that next week. We'll have a look at that because obviously we've heard from Powell over the last, I think it was a week ago, we heard from Powell at a fireside chat and wasn't in any hurry to sort of move on rates. But again, we are in a fast-moving environment at the moment of everything going on a fiscal level as well as on a monetary policy level and in terms of the data. So it's going to be quite interesting time for the Fed as well as the BOJ in terms of decision making. So looking forward to next week's edition as well. But back to this one. So you'll be looking at Bitcoin, as you said, NASDAQ, S&P, also cobalt, Canadian dollar, and let's see, looking at the Canadian dollar as well as aluminium or aluminum, as we like to say on the other side of the pond. So yeah, anyone who wants to have a look at that, as I said, Substack, for those that want to subscribe to Substack. There's also going to be a link on the livesquawk.com page, and then look on the social media platforms for links to the article as well. Chris, thank you very much as ever for that brief introduction or overview of what we have to come. And yeah, we look forward to reading it.
Thank you, Harry. My pleasure.
Have a good weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks for tuning into the Live Squawk podcast. Your edge in the market starts here. Subscribe now.